Okay, we're going to call the regular meeting of the Bridge and Port Authority, September 1st at 4 p.m. And also note that there will be no need for a border station meeting this month. There's no action there. So we'll call the meeting to order. And the first thing I'd like to do is, if the board will allow me to have our gentleman from C&S go ahead with his presentation. Thank you.
About 15 minutes.
You say 11 minutes? You got it.
1 minute, okay. All right, I'll keep it very brief.
Don't take it personally, it's hard of hearing.
I ran over my book.
Yeah, you said 1 minute, so be careful.
1 minute, okay. Very briefly, you have a capital improvement plan, 8.5 by 11 sheet that shows all the projects. Should have that in front of you in your packet. If not, I have some extras right here. Do you need any? Do you need those?
No, it's in the packet.
Okay, all right. Very briefly. This is the capital improvement plan. Mary asked, why is this called a 5-year plan if we only show years 9, 10, 11, 12? It's because we've listed all the projects that we believe are pertinent to the 5-year plan. This is the drawing showing all of the planned projects. It was developed in 1995 by C&S. We've made some changes to it, some modifications called parenting changes that are shown here. And my plan here today is to go over briefly what the projects are.
Will you do me a favor?
Yes.
Take that blueprint, put it right over by Steve, and the board members can see it. Sure. Thank you very much. We've already seen it.
By Steve. This is good.
Great.
You can work? See it okay? Okay. I did go through the 2009 project. We've gone through those before. Maybe it's best in time just to jump to 2010. Makes sense? Objection to that? Project we talked about already. I'm just briefly talk about runway 9, obstruction analysis, leaf on conditional photography of runway 9. You have a grant for that. The VASI path replacement talked about last time. It's the NAV to runway ends. Grant for that is coming soon. It's not in hand now. Actually, ABC design. It's the yellow pavement for C&S to design the location, get that ready to bid. Wildlife assessment, the whole entire facility that we're working on with FAA for approval. And security fencing in blue. That's to complete the remaining part of the fencing that is substandard today. All those projects I mentioned are planned to be funded or are funded. 2009 or 2008 case of the security fencing. 2010, looking ahead, we have off airport obstruction movement environmental. That's the second part of the project that we have given Wade a scope and fee for, planned to be evaluated in 2010. That's to look at all of the significant features that may exist along the river, along the cemetery area. It's dealing with all the regulatory agencies, SHPO, Corps of Engineers, DEC, Federal Fish and Wildlife, Natural Habitat, there's a whole deal. Second project is Interport Layout Plan Update. That's revisiting this plan, last developed in 1995. Revisit this plan, see if it's still current. What expansion or what plans with this group, or the facilities group, or particularly Steve and his staff, see would be appropriate. And the way we explain this is once the plan that was developed at one time is implemented to 60% level, the FAA recommends plan to be revisited. It's called an Airport Layout Plan Update. Not funded, it's a vision to fund it next year at a cost of $65,000, and that's to the extreme right. That project is 2.5% local share. The next project in 2010 is the infrastructure improvement project, site development, water, sewer, communications. It's an application that Wade had made several years ago, still hoping to receive some funds for that to bring water and sewer communications down A12, tying into the facility so that that infrastructure will allow for further expansion of the airport area. The next project in 2010 is the security improvements, cameras and monitoring. and that would include camera system along the ARC building, the fuel tank area, and along the area of the terminal. Exterior cameras we're talking about. That project could be upwards of $400,000 if you choose to have a large-scale project. It could be as small as $150,000 a small-scale project. There's no application right now, but there is a vision to put cameras there, and if you choose to have a larger scale project, it would be around $400,000. That we recommend be applied to the state of New York. There's no cost to the local sponsor for that. There's one more round of applications. There is no date when those are due, but I would recommend the Bridgeport Authority consider putting that in as a state project.
Can I ask you a question? I mean, it's kind of strange in its own way. If you're doing that for security reasons, I mean, you're here in the meeting, would you be openly announce that you're having cameras?
You put them in a street place, you've seen the little bubbles?
Right. Well, I'm just saying this. I mean, for security reasons, I don't want people to know they have them. Or does that make sense?
What they do with cameras were there. They may deter some of the people.
Well, that's true. Another way you can look at it too. If I see something there that may look like a camera, that might. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
We have them there now.
Yeah, we do.
The bubbles over there.
All right.
No cameras now. The last project for 2010 is the construction of this project, the yellow project. 5,200 feet, the stubs. Not including these stubs, this was of these black areas, we call them taxiway connectors. They would be, they're not part of this project because of the cost and because we don't feel at this time you really need them for the number of operations you have at the airport. It's a vision we had back in '95 to put additional connectors in so landing aircraft can get off and come back. To reduce the amount of time the aircraft have to be on the runway, to reduce the amount of distance to travel back to their intended location. Based on what we see here today, I do not recommend you pursue that project. It's not necessary. And that rounds out 2010. 2011, the off-airport easement acquisition. There are easements across the cemeteries that are not well written. They need to be further defined and more accurately defined to meet the airspace conditions of today. Plan is to obtain those easements for property across Route Runway 9. There may be some easements associated with the fence too that we recommend you consider. And kind of far-reaching would be to consider an easement on the far end, particularly if land is available or purchase of land. And that would be the off-airport easement acquisition project. The next project is a 10-bay T-hanger, similar to the 10-bay hangar that's there now. And the costs around here, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have on costs. And the last project...
That's a pre-engineered building for the rest, right?
Right. Some site work. Very expensive. Those T-hangers used to be about $30,000 a bay, and now they're running upwards of $60,000 to $75,000 per bay. Things have gone up. The last project is the runway 9 rehabilitation. That's the design of the runway rehab. We have it in 2011. It's a placeholder. Things will probably get pushed down the list, but it is becoming a time frame soon when we recommend consider rehabilitation of the runway. Not necessary right now. We just did a crack and seal project a few years ago. Recommend you consider that coming up within the next 5 years, certainly, if not the next 3. Listed as 11. And 2012, running up the last year, we have a plan, or the off-air structure removal. That's all the trees in this area that we've already identified as having airspace violation. The rehabilitation of the runway, resurfacing, milling, resurfacing, remarking. Acquire land for runway 422, that's the crosswind. This project continues to get pushed down the list. It's kind of a vision, it's kind of a dream. And then the actual design of 2012 of that runway, if you choose to.
Which would only service very small aircraft.
Very small aircraft. There was a question whether that would serve the existing commuter. I will check that. I don't know the answer to that, but I'll check. check that.
That's a good question, if you'd let us know.
Okay.
Thank you. Good job. Should we take the resolution out of order so he knows before he leaves? Or no?
We can do that.
You got the change order too, once we're doing it?
We'll move right into that.
C1.
That's a good idea. Can you move that sign now? Oh, we're back on camera. Thank you very much.
C1.
Taking things a little bit out of order here, agenda item C1 for the airport would be approval of 5-year capital improvement program. As you can see, Jim Morrissey was here from CNS Engineers, prepared the 5-year capital improvement plan. Period would be 2009 through 2013. There's a typo in the resolutions here. The date today is September 1st, not September 2nd. As far as the presentation to the Facilities Committee and full board. And based on the discussion at the Facilities Committee and presentation, we'd like to see this approved and adopted.
Since the Facilities Committee recommended it, I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, just the one that kind of amazes me, if there are trees that are already in the area of obstruction, why are we waiting until 2012?
Money.
Why wouldn't we make that a priority?
That sounds very good conversation you and I had, Jim, about the safety aspect.
Yeah, very good question. We're going through the, we call the leaf on condition 2009 Part B, which is right now. The grant to actually obtain that, visit that, get accurate information. In 2010, there wasn't enough money to do the environmental and the leaf on condition aerial in 2009. At one point in time, the FAA liked the project, they ran out of money. So we have to finish the environmental in 2010, and it will take a good 9 months to finish that job with all the regulatory agencies we have to consult with. Then, before we take the trees down, you have to get an easement. And the FAA will not allow an easement plan the same year if you're getting the environmental. The environmental precedes all activities. Talked about finding the most significant impact for the kids. So that's the progress. That's the change. I wish we could speed it up. We can't.
Yes.
Good question.
Thanks, Jim. The other item to take out of order would be agenda E. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Let me get ahead of myself.
The motion's been made and seconded. Any other questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
All right, sorry about that. Agenda item E2 is approval of change order to Danco Construction. This deals with $34,018 remaining
C4.
in the,
Page 21, C4.
I'm sorry, I've got an old version. $34,018 remains of grant funding for the transit hangar, recommended by management and the authorities consult CNS Engineers. That correction on the number here should be $23,876 of the remaining funds be utilized for the installation of septic tank, sanitary lateral drill well, water services, and everything you see there.
And the Facilities Committee met this afternoon with Mr. Morrissey. He brought us these numbers, makes the recommendations of this, and since it came out of the Facilities Committee, I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Okay. Back to a regular.
Just since Mr. Morrissey's still here and he may leave since all of his good juicy stuff is done, I'm wondering if this is a good time to remind the board that we're going to probably have to have a special board meeting for the grant for the wildlife assessment. We don't yet have a grant offer and a value, so later this month we're going to have one more a special board meeting to pass that. We were supposed to have had it in August. There's not been a grant offer yet. There's no value placed on a wildlife assessment, so.
Timing that the FAA.
Yeah. Right?
That's correct. A little further background There is a value. We propose that to the Bridgeport Authority and the FAA. The specialist at the FAA is suggesting that more site visits be considered. That is not consistent with our thoughts and experiences, so we're back and forth with the FAA, confirming either that will be accepted, the value that we place on visits, or if it is increased, there may need to be some additional funds placed on that project. So that's where that project is. Thanks, Mayor.
When you say additional funds may be put onto the project?
Yeah. Federal. It's still 95% federal, 2.5% local, 2.5% state. Basically, we're talking about doubling the site visits, is what Evelyn Martinez and the FAA is recommending. We're challenging that on behalf of the Bridgeport Authority. We need to spend that kind of money, and we're waiting to hear back. She is on vacation.
How much money are you talking about additional?
65 to 110,000.
Yeah.
So we would go from 1,600 to maybe 2,200 additional. That would be our portion.
2.5% of the difference of.
That'd be an increase to us.
That's correct.
So that we may not accept the grant then, if that's the case.
Yeah. However, one thing that's happened too is it's unlikely additional funds will be available this late federal fiscal year. I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea.
At least it's on the record.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming, Jim.
Okay. We'll go back to the regular schedule on the agenda and the regular meeting now. Letters of communications to the board, any?
Actually, Mr. Chairman, prior to that, there is a need to do a presentation tonight to an employee who has reached a 25-year mark for longevity here.
Okay.
I'd like to
conduct that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Debbie's here.
Debbie, would you come up, please? On behalf of the Bridge and Port Authority, I'd like to thank you for your 25 years of service here at the authority. Nice certificate recognizing that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robbie.
I want to thank you. Very nice, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the other employees who should be standing here today because they've never tried. Pat Hill reached 40 years of service last April 2008. Tisha, she reached a 20-year milestone in 2002 when the program was kind of got by the wayside. She didn't get recognized, but she also reached 25 years in 2007. And Linda Hankins, who's the account clerk, she reached her 20-year milestone in 2006. Steve Belgard reached his 20-year milestone in 2007. And Steve Malone reached his 20-year milestone in January. When I proposed reactivating the employee recognition program, I was hoping the board would find it acceptable to catch up with all the employees who have not been recognized for between milestones of 25 years and so forth. Executive Director Wade said he would not agree with Lloyd at catching up. No, I thought he should go to the board and ask them since it was a recognition coming from them, and I wonder if he did. But I was also hoping the board would approve continuing the tradition of presenting a framed picture of the bridge. I even went so far as to acquire the current price of the prints, which is $135. CFO Mark Mashon did some research and found that New York State allows up to $400 for recognition. So we were under the gun. Man, we could recognize 3 people. Upon being given this information, Executive Director Wade Davis said that the board never approved such an expenditure. I truly didn't feel I was proposing too much. I was just trying to get things back to some sort of normalcy. I was truly hoping to have a Betty Steele print to hang up the wall now. But thank you very much. This is nuts. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Debbie. Also, one other certificate of appreciation to mention. He's not here with us tonight, but Gary Eggleston at Fort also reached his 25 years of service. We'll make sure that he gets this.
Okay.
Thanks for that, because it's always nice to see people who stayed in the system and worked hard for us, and to recognize them for their hard labor and staying with us. That's very important to us. I thank them.
Okay, we'll get back to the regular business. The approval of the minutes for May 14th, June 2nd, July 7th.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, there is, sort of keep jumping back on the order here. but there is one letter of communication to the board, specifically received August 7th from the Seaway Slow Pitch Association. On behalf of the Seaway Slow Pitch League, we'd like to take this time to say thank you and all who help make our 2009 season a success. The final game again turned out to be the most exciting finish ever seen in the history of the Seaway Slow Pitch softball. We had over 170 players involved in approximately 286 games. We used 3 baseball diamonds throughout the 2009 season. Your staff did an outstanding job keeping the grass cut and removing the trash when needed. We hope you found the condition of the ballpark in good shape when we ended our season on August 2nd, 2009. We look forward to 2010 and doing business with you again. Thank you for your help. Sincerely, David Bell, Secretary Treasurer of the Seaway Slow Pitch Softball Association.
Okay. Anything else? I'll put the minutes, what did they say?
Minutes? Oh, meeting minutes? Defer them to next month?
Next month? Okay, comments and presentations by citizens regarding the agenda items? Anybody got anything? Okay, Executive Director's report.
A couple things I want to highlight in the report. The apron expansion and rehabilitation project continues at the airport. If you haven't been out there, you should really go out and check it out. Tremendous amount of work going on out there. Also, I've worked with our elected officials in the Dormitory Authority to release the funds for the authority's bifold door project, which was under the Community Capital Program. That is the doors that will go in one side of the passenger terminal for the Cape airplane. Held discussions with CNS over the capital improvement program that we've seen. As far as the board continue to pursue the Section 107 study needs, that's the one that can ultimately result in dredging. We have a draft North Country Transportation Fleet Needs Study. We'll be meeting with the consultant on that very soon. Participated in the New York State DOT Railroad meeting and working with an off-port client to expand warehouse utilization support. Been a pretty busy month as far as the bridge goes as well. I've submitted comments to the New York State Draft Energy Plan for the Ogdensburg-Prescott International Bridge, run-of-river turbines, and utilizing the bridge as a connection to the Canadian electrical grid to help meet New York State energy goals. In addition, I've also suggested that the port facility be utilized for renewable generation opportunities such as chips. In addition, I met with staff and the acting Region 7 director, Carrie Babiak, who was the former director, is now retired. There's a new acting director there. We talked about the FHWA agreement status, toll booth relocation project, and outstanding project. Represented the authority's interest at the I-98 North Country Transportation Group meeting. It's been a very busy month in terms of interfacing with staff, Governor's office, Senator Albertine's office, Assembly Russell, Senator Schumer, Senator Gillibrand, and Congressman McHugh's office to promote bridge needs and upcoming authority projects. We've done a lot of work there. In addition, we're pursuing the Tiger funding, and over the next 30, 60, 90 days time frame, just to hit on a couple key issues here. The Port Master Plan update will be done. The bridge rehabilitation project, we're continuing to pursue funding on that, and we need $9 million. Looking to see what we can do there. We'll be promoting the Canadian Wind Energy Association. We'll actually have a booth there at that meeting in Toronto coming up, and looking at additional opportunities for the 2009 shipping season. We'll be working on the recommended strategy for the Bridge and Port Authority, and also I'm pleased to announce there should be an update that will be coming through the Strategic Planning Committee once the Port Master Plan is be happy to answer any additional questions.
Are you looking for anybody to attend that Strategic Planning Committee tomorrow in lieu of me, since I cannot be here? Did you want somebody else to fill in, or I'd want to fill in for me or someone else?
Somebody would like to come.
I just didn't get enough notice to be there tomorrow, so if somebody wanted to fill in, Fred, if you wanted somebody to be a placeholder, I'll leave that up to you.
Okay. Any other questions of Wade? Does any of the other board members want to attend that? That Wade, no?
Yeah, as long as we don't have quorum, we're good. I would like to attend to go free.
Okay. Chief Financial Officer?
If I could direct you to page 8, there's our financial statements that I've prepared internally. And these are the first financials we've had for this current fiscal year. So I just kind of run through this at kind of a high level, just to point out some of the ups and downs. You can see that we have a revenue of $1,334,000 this year compared with 1.5 last year. That's down $204,000. I'll explain that in a second. Our expenses are $1,387,000 compared with $1,501,000 last year, down $114,000, which is a positive thing, which leaves us with basically a loss in operations of $53,000 this year. We added our grant income for our federal aviation projects of $80,000. Gives us a positive bottom line of $27,000. The expenses are pretty much in line, but just to run down the revenue pretty quickly here, bridge tolls are up $26,000. That's due to the number of crossings. Kind of makes sense. Rental income's down $14,000. The biggest driver there is one tenant in building number 6 in the industrial park is no longer in there, and that is $15,000 hit that we'll see growing throughout the year. The Ford operating income is down $263,000. The wind turbine project, of course, was here last year, not here this year. That resulted in $367,000 revenue loss this year. But the salt is up about $110,000, so that's where we get the net number of $263,000. The Ford warehousing and storage is up. Salt is up $64,000 from our carryover from the spring, and ACO is down $19,000. They're no longer around. The airport operating income is a small thing. Interest income is down $4,000. We're going to probably see that decrease grow throughout the year because the interest rates are so low as compared with a year ago. So we'll probably see that trend continue. And as far as the construction projects go, Elmar spent some money out there and got some of it back, $11,500. And there was a small project at the bridge at the border station.
And our new tenant, MHLS, will that help us balance out the loss of our tenant building 6?
Yes, yep. And I think that was picked up July, I believe. We'll start seeing that next month. And the big move there on the expenses is the salaries and wages. The wind turbine project had $148,000 in wages year to date last year compared to this year. So that's the majority of the difference there. As far as the annual budget goes, that's still with the Division of Budget. I talked to them as recently as last Thursday, giving them some more information, and that and the repayment agreement is still moving forward. There's no other change other than I've got reported here, really.
Didn't I ask you what Executive Order 4 was? You told me it was a report on how green we are, right?
Yes, that is a new executive order. We have to analyze our recycling, how we purchase things, and our pounds of trash we get out of here.
We're going to put sensors on.
Yeah.
Mark, how are we going on that recommendation that our accountants made? Follow up with
The physical inventory of the assets. Debbie and I have sat down and we've got a game plan. We're going to look at that the week of Labor Day, September 6th. We're going to start that. Take us 2 or 3 days to look at everything. That's our schedule.
And then your counting begins at that point in time?
Yes.
How long do you think that'll take?
I think about 3 days in the field, maybe with the 2 of us, and then we'll wrap it up in the office in a day or so.
So that should be all done and complied to then?
Yes.
By the 1st of October?
1st of October, yeah.
Thank you. Any questions of the Mr. Marshall? Mr. Reish, Communication Industrial Development Report.
Conducted outreach to a Canadian firm that expressed an interest in Fort Worth Township fertilizers, and that was the customer you would talk to there, and they do have an interest, not an immediate need, but make sure we set up a meeting with them and follow up on it. We had a very productive meeting with the back port facility here. They came here. They have an interest in learning the use of port for shipments of agricultural products, and the follow-up visit up to the port facility, back on the railroad, and we're working toward putting together a lease for that project. Participated in some agricultural tours, doing some follow-up for those rains in the county as a result of that visitation. Still working on some additional bulk commodities. Waiting on attending the CanWEA conference, September 20th and 23rd. Also had an inquiry just yesterday on some wind turbine projects that 2010 season will be working. North Country Freight Needs Study Steering Committee meeting tomorrow. Just in regards to the Power Authority's article in the paper about the proposed electric transmission upgrade, sounds like a pretty big project, so we wrote to them, just encourage them to be a partner with us and use the port and rail facilities. Spending a lot of time on writing the Tiger Grant. That's going to be a $27 million plus grant application to the U.S. Department of Transportation. We have a draft done, and I'll be refining that over the next 6 or 7 days for September 15th sufficient date. We're attending the Eastern Ontario Economic Showcase on the 24th in Ottawa. A little bit of advertising in the Ottawa Business Journal and the Ottawa Citizen that we're working on together jointly with the Joint Economic Development Committee. Covered it.
The Quebec prospect, did they find us for our advertising? Do we have any idea how they found us, or did we find them? How did that work?
He said he was aware of us. We've actually worked with them.
There wasn't any particular mailing or advertising? Okay.
Yeah.
John, on that Tiger Grant, are we keeping our politicians up to date on that? Making sure they're in the loop?
Yes, Wade's written to all of them and requested a letter of support. That will be included as part of the grant application.
Now, would that come directly to us?
Yes, some of them we've already received. We've got a couple of minutes ready.
Or do you mean the Tiger Grant money?
Yeah.
No, it goes through DOT, I believe. For the actual applicant, but Steve knows better how to answer that, how the funding. The grant would be implemented through DOT, correct? Yeah.
It'd be similar to they would administer that.
Why would that be?
Just the way it's dispersed. I think the feds would have to come through FHW, the Highway Administration, and then down to DOT.
Steve, are there any questions of John's report? Being none, Director of Operations, Steve Morris.
Just a couple. One thing that's not on here, Industrial Park. We're just doing some pavement repairs. That'll be done by the end of the week. We'll be starting on that. You'll see something in your packet about a repair of the HVAC units. We talked about the hailstorm damage there. There'll be something there with more detailed explanation of how we want to proceed with that. On the bridge maintenance crew is continuing this installation of safety cabling. That's for access on the bridge, and we're also, water levels low enough where we're able to, we've got some pier repairs, so the guys are going out in the boat maybe to take care of some of those piers are really stone masonry. We've got to take care of some of the joints in that. River level's low, so they can take there's moss and sometimes even some organic growth there. They can take that off and repatch that. So we're taking advantage of that right now with the weather. We've got an interim bridge inspection scheduled for September, preparing for that. At the airport, as Wade mentioned, the airport apron expansion rehab project is continuing. Quite a bit of work. imagine by another month there, things will be pretty well along. At the port, American Rock Salt has been continuing with the rail shipments of road salt. Currently, right now, we're in a lull. I guess they're doing annual maintenance at the mine, so there's 2 or 3 week lull where we won't be seeing much for a while. Just for your information, with North American, Morton, and American Rock Salt, we have over 170,000 tons currently at the port. Other than American Rock Salt bringing more in, that'll probably, they'll add another maybe 30,000 onto that. So we'll have probably somewhere over 200,000 tons of salt. We'll be in good shape for the winter.
Do you look to ship that or move that all off this year? I mean, is it, people already got it bought, or, I mean, what's the deal?
I think I've seen orders for somewhere in the 150 range, commitments, but I think there'll be some left over. Depends on the weather, but I think there's commitments for like 140 to 150,000 between the state and the local municipalities.
Steve, I'd just like to ask, is there any way we can move that salt earlier in the morning and get the trucks out earlier and get them on the road? Or is it still going to be 8 to 4?
No, Fred, last year I did 7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
When they get there and get rolling, but we moved it up an hour last year, and that seemed to help out a lot. And then depending on what the salt companies require, we'd go an hour later. But what happens is with winter hours, on the tail end, a lot of the DOTs and municipalities have already gone home. So they're locked up, so toward the end of the afternoon, their trucks may be available, but at the other end of it, no one's there to receive the salt, so we kind of have to shut down the day. So that's why we moved it up now in the morning.
You still have 2 loadermen?
Yep.
So we could go to an earlier start time and bring in the other loader guy and go to the later start, right?
Yeah, and that's we did that at times, yeah. But we never started at 6, partly because just with the residential end of that, to go too far with that. So
Be noisy? The operations are noisy?
Just with all the trucks. We did move it up an hour. And then we work everything through lunches. That's pretty well smoothed out there. So, and some of the system's easier to operate, so even I can handle some of that. So I'm there for an hour, so I can really handle some of that. All the guys are pretty good with working the system. You think they'll move it up another hour is asking for too much, or what are you thinking?
No, I think the earlier them trucks are loaded, ready to roll out of there, the better it is, because they'll get an extra truck and move that salt that much quicker out of the port, and then maybe make the other salt that we got there available to be sold. Move that on the port.
Maybe at some point in time, it would be worth trying to see and letting neighbors know that we're just testing to see if it will work without bothering.
We're there, rather than parking outside the gate, we get them inside, and that gets them started.
Right.
Yeah, so we could ease into that and see, maybe try 6:30 or something, just see.
Test it.
Because a lot of those truck drivers are there. They're
there at 5:30 in the morning.
They got to get their truck running. Like that.
I used to be there at 4. Get in line. First out. Last to stop.
We haven't been home yet.
I was going to say, you just get home. I knew you were going to say that. You get home. You're probably right. Okay, Steve. You got any fence for us yet? I'll be after you for that fence, Steve.
No, I don't have any.
I'll be after you.
I've got to
look at our fence.
A lot of accessories.
Wait a minute, we just delayed.
Well, that's all right. The delay don't be none, but I still will be after you.
All right.
The consultant for the port security project has, they completed the preliminary drawings. The construction costs have, they'll be setting up a meeting with us in the next couple of weeks on that. Let's see, any other things? Oh, 2 things just board making aware of. Tiffel Associates has begun the preliminary design work to relocate the power lines, and I met with one of the 2 companies. We talked about a larger conveyor and streamlining some of that. I met with a company out of Syracuse yesterday, and they've taken in how we do things and are going to come back with some proposals. We're not too far off for what we do, but there's things out there that can really improve how we move things, and they're going to, I guess they have a contact with a couple of European firms that do a lot of ocean going and dock type of specialty stuff, so they're going to run some of these things by that. Just give us some numbers and things there that we can come back to you with.
I actually came here and visually watched the operations.
Measured things and kind of just threw out some ideas to us that seemed pretty positive.
And they know our physical plant, obviously, then.
Right. And then knowing that, we can kind of use them as a resource should we have any problems with that. I think that should do pretty much everything. Any questions?
Committee reports, Mary.
The Facilities Committee met this afternoon at 3 o'clock, and 3 of the items that we've already touched on with Mr. Morrissey were the 5-year capital improvement plan. And as you know from discussing the resolution, the Facilities Committee recommended approval of that. The Danko change order, which again we already approved. The board approved the resolution, and the Facilities Committee recommended that approval from the meeting. We also have in our packet tonight for your consideration, and the Facilities Committee has recommended its approval, is the interim inspection by Greenman and Peterson, and the fact that that would be accompanied with the board making a best interest finding to not to put that work out to bid. We also have an insurance claim for the June 26 hailstorm to our HVAC units. That came before the Facilities Committee, and we recommend that for approval tonight as well. I think that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, we'll have the Finance Committee.
Roger, did you look at the bills today? Any of the?
Yes, I did.
You did? Okay.
Everything okay, Roger?
Yes, one I have a big question on it. There's a $2,000 bill that I don't quite understand, and I still am not quite at the supplies, toilet supplies and stuff for $2,000. Is that one full year?
What kind of supplies? What kind?
It's a toilet.
Yes. Yeah. That's not one full year. It's either the border station or this building takes care of the rest. We go well over $2,000 in supplies.
How long a period though?
How long will the supplies last us? $2,000 worth. That might be able to tell us.
No.
I just ran into this name and I didn't recognize it, and I asked what it was. It said it was supplies, toilet seat covers, and that kind of stuff. I couldn't believe it.
A lot of times that's border station
Covers.
Yeah.
Little protector thingy, Jiggy?
See,
Oh,
Okay. Well,
I'm satisfied that that is.
Mark, why don't we have Pat Hill give him a call and an answer since she wasn't here today, right?
Sure.
But
What's that?
Pat Hill wasn't here today. Debbie answered?
They took me in and showed me the bill.
Debbie, how long do those supplies last us? Do you have any idea? We don't know, okay. Okay.
A couple times a year, Steve, you buy from Buck? Couple times a year, we get them in order from Buck, right? Yeah, try to make 2 of those purchases a year.
well, Mark can get the answer, Roger. That's good that you picked up on it. He'll respond back to you.
See if we can get the problem.
Yeah. Got anything else, Roger?
I love it.
God knows what he's thinking about.
Well, I don't care. It's on the screen. Okay, unfinished business.
Closed captioning, you'll actually get that.
Unfinished business. Events and activities.
Just one quick thing, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to point out the next scheduled date, the Facilities Committee will be on the October 6th at 3 o'clock, 2 2 o'clock if needed.
Can you let us know ahead of time?
Yeah, we should know about mid-month. Be there.
Well, we're gonna have to come in here for a special meeting anyways
Yes.
on the facility thing, so anything that you got, we probably
We'll see if we can work it in.
Yeah. So that's fine. November 3rd is okay with everybody? Okay,
October,
What's this again?
it's the October meeting.
Yeah, I won't be here for the October.
it's fine.
I'll be back in November.
Yeah, she already notified me, okay. And so December 1st is,
We've moved that, right?
changed to December 9th on a Wednesday. Has anybody got a problem with that? We changed it to the 9th. Mary's got some stuff that she has to be at. So we
We were
changed.
just concerned there might not be a quorum, because that's the same week of Thanksgiving, so.
It's good for Sam too. I don't know, he's got scheduled that far away, I can't believe it. But the 9th is okay then. Okay, we'll move right into business items.
All right. First item on agenda 81, the summer employee payment, 6% clothing allowance. This is a 6% bonus for all temporary summer employees, recognizing the actions done and also helps reimburse students for wear and tear on clothing. The wages for 2009 would be approximately $2,500. Mark indicated that there are 11 students in the program. The high is 203, the low $70. As budget funds are available for this, recommend approval.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made by Mary, seconded by Sam. Any questions on the motion? The new board members understand what that is?
I understand what it is. I guess I don't realize exactly how much it would mean for the ordinary, everyday guy who's there for the summer. How much? I know the total, I see that approximately $2,500, but what would per person?
70 to 240, they just said. The lowest would be $70 a person, and the highest would be 240. Yeah, it depends on the number of hours they put in. So somebody who works more hours would have more clothing allowance.
And they're right with that guy from CNS, they wear a lot of clothes. All in favor of the motion, signal by saying aye. Aye. You'll have a little humor, guy. I guess so.
The second item is A2, approval agreement with Green and Peterson. A couple of key things to note on this in the report section. New York State requires interim inspections of New York State bridges, specifically our bridge, due to gusset plate fatigue cracking issues. Green and Peterson submitted a proposal to the authority to perform the interim inspection. This is not the biennial, but the interim inspection. The fee would be $22,098.24. Details of the proposal are attached immediately behind this. GPI performed the most recent biennial bridge inspection, and as a result, this proposal from GPI was obtained on a non-competitive basis. That's an important note because normally we put these type things out to bid. In this particular case, retaining GPI for the interim inspection utilizes their knowledge obtained from that work and is in the best interest of the authority, which is allowed under our procurement policy exceptions. You also see a notation there in the report section regarding budget. It's a little bit more expensive than what we thought it was going to be. We had a placeholder in there for $18,000. The proposal's $22,098, which is just a little over $4,000 over budget. We can make that up in other areas.
Isn't there more staffing involved with their inspection versus the other one? Is there more people involved in what the reason the cost is $4,000 more?
Well, I think Steve, you can speak to this placeholder, but the $18,000 placeholder.
That was a number that I just added a percentage on a couple of interims we had earlier, and I just added a percentage based on what I did budget that placeholder, and I just missed that number. It's not a matter of theirs being any more expensive, or it's not like they quoted me a number and then
Will they do the same sophistication of their inspection versus past people doing the inspection?
Only in a focused manner, be on cables, certain areas that came out of the 2008 inspection. They'll focus in on those, and possibly there's something, they'll look at some of the work that we did to correct that came out of the 2008. Our troops repaired a lot of things. They're going to look at all of that and see that we did it.
So this is really like a second opinion.
Yes, and
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, and there could be some flags issued out of that. We talked about that before.
Yeah. Thank you.
Should have picked up on it, I didn't. Okay, any other questions? Motions in order? Did we have a second on that?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any more questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye. Agenda item 8.3. Support for the transportation investment generating economic recovery Tiger Grant application. Specifically, John, I'd like to turn this one over to you to walk us through this.
Sure. Can we just read it, or?
Just hit some of the highlights there.
Total grant is $27,248,000. They're American Recovery Reinvestment Act grant funds. They'd be combined with the $20 million allocation we already have from the New York State Bond Act. And it will allow us to complete all the necessary structural repairs, including deck replacement, elimination of raised safety walks, replacement of longitudinal stringers, replacement of bridge railings, floor beam repairs.
John, the rest of it, one of the things I don't understand is, why are we applying for this grant and turning it over to the DOT? We know the DOT's got $20 million. I mean, we've seen a letter on it, a piece of paper with some words on it. But we take that for the gospel. But we're applying for $27 million. Along with that, it brings it up to $47 million. Plus, we've already applied for $4 million, almost $5 million on another grant. And I think that the CEO should be looking at getting that money in-house on grants. I don't think we should run that grant through the DOT because of the delay that they put us on.
I don't think it's our choice, right?
Yes, it is.
Technically, we're the applicant. We would be awarded funds. But what happens after that?
Well, that's my question. I mean, I don't care if it's got to go to the DOT. I don't have a problem with that, Mary. But I want to be sure that it has to. If it doesn't, and it's approved for us, then I want it to come to us. I think we're very capable of managing that money. Because once we get that money, with the $20 million that the DOT's got, now we tell the DOT to go ahead and go to bid. We've got our deck, and we've got our new guardrails, and we're on our way home here. And it's going to look a lot better to Senator Schuman and Gillibrand and those folks that now they, will have to come up with maybe $40 million more to complete everything that we want to do.
Right.
Under the $90 million that John McHugh has put us in for. And just for you to know, John McHugh's bill is only his bill. And he's about to leave us. Well, what happens to that bill then is we're hoping that Senator Schumer, and Senator Gillibrand would lock onto that. Now, they have said to us, they said to me, that it goes into committee. They'll consider it at the time it goes into committee. Well, I worry about that. So I worry about that. So, we've been told by the DOT to fetch for ourselves. Excuse my framing that English language. So we're doing that. We're fetching for ourselves.
Right.
But you put all the work into this. Wade puts all the work into this. We need the money to come here. Now, if they tell you it has to go to the DOT, then that's got to go to the DOT. But I want our bridge fixed. And the only way we're going to do that...
Guidelines of the grant?
Yeah, let me look into it and read what happens at it.
Because I want to turn more money over to the DOT.
Right.
Well, we've never turned any money over.
Let me go a little further.
It's been funneled to us.
Right, but let me go a little further here. Just for you to understand my view. As a chairman here, I have been told specifically they have to earmark that to the DOT. And if it's not earmarked, then, they get that money, they're going to do what they want to do. And we're shovel ready. That's all I'm saying, make sure it has to go there.
Okay.
Because we can manage our own money here.
Well, I think it's more like an administration of that amount of money, and I think we are capable of administering that amount of money.
Yes, thank you very
That's a
much.
good question, and let me throw this out for consideration. We already know we're going to have a special facilities meeting and a special board.
Why don't we table this?
We could bring this back up and have the answer to the questions at that special meeting. If that's acceptable.
I don't like the word combined. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to the board members. You know, you read the resolution. I don't have a problem with it if that's where it's got to go. Then we'll word it in here that way. But then we'll word it in there that it has to be earmarked for us to get it from the DOT, because that's what DOT.
But if DOT gets the money, they tell us how they're going to get it.
DOT specifically told us that if it isn't earmarked for us, we might not get it.
That's right.
Because the DOT might move it to somewhere else.
That's,
Yeah.
they'll set the time
If
frame
you
when they want
just
to
change
disperse
the
the money.
report, though, in addition to, would be in addition to.
I see that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, but
I don't think we got a problem with tabling this until next week or the week after.
well, we're hoping that we could send it with the application due on the 15th, so why it's on the agenda tonight.
Can we just change the report to be the Tiger funds would be in addition to the 20 million allocation? Right, and then and the resolution doesn't need to be changed because it doesn't talk about where it's going. I mean, we're not in charge of that anyway. It's depending
It
on.
says the authorization to submit the state application for offer. You have the United States Department of Transportation ran the application.
How'd you word it, Mary?
In the report section, the Tiger funds would be in addition to the.
That would make sense.
That fixes.
And then you don't have to worry about us thinking that we're going to combine it with the DOT money. Meaning,
Okay, with the correction that, board member Charlie, go ahead.
I'll make the motion with the correction that the report reads, second paragraph, the Tiger funds would be in addition to the 20 million allocation of New York State Bond Act funds that are already dedicated to this important surface transportation project. I'll make the motion with that change.
And I'll second.
Okay, and now just before we vote, we're all here board members, I want to make sure everybody's clear on it. The press don't get it. The bond act is 15 million. The additional 5 million came through DOT because of security on the rail, on the guardrails, right?
That came about after the incident out there, yes.
So we had picked up an additional 5 million, but actually the bond act money is 15 million.
Right.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Anybody else got any questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you very much.
Next item up, item B1 for the Port of Ogdensburg is approval to purchase the property. The OBPA offered to purchase property located at 1856 Ford Street, Ogdensburg, for the purchase price of $42,000. Property is currently owned by Nancy Rowland, and she has accepted the authority's offer. Recommend the approval of this purchase.
For use by the accounting department, is that right?
Yeah, that's our satellite office.
I'll make the motion.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The next item up, agenda C2, approval of lease from Resident Parish. This is for the lease agreement with the ILS facility. Its annual agreement expires September 30th, 2009. Rate would be